morning everybody, Car Biker here on another ride. I've got a week off, so this is my second ride of the week and my second go with the GoPro HERO10 Black. Why has it got a colour on it? Is that just the colour of the camera? I know in the past they had like a black and a silver and a red and yellow and pink and green, orange and purple and blue. Many rainbows of GoPros, but it seems to me they've only got one now. Don't quite understand that. Anyway, I'm out with Graham, formerly Adventures with Woody, now Chronicles of Dot, and we're off for a cup of coffee. We've only been riding for a couple of minutes and I need a coffee already. Oh, it's cold! They've salted again, annoyingly, but it's really cold. I've got my heated grips going. I've got my summer gloves on. That was a bad idea. I've got my winter jacket. I've got my heated vest underneath, a jumper, a t-shirt, and it's still blooming cold. I didn't check the temperature gauge, but I suspect it's low. Wouldn't surprise me to see ice on the roads. Oh, look at that. Another Africa Twin. It's the Africa Twin Club. Graham's got his new boxes on. Looking rather swish, those boxes. I do like those adventure style boxes on the Africa Twin. I think it needs an adventure style box on the top as well to really set it off, but it would be somewhat of an expensive thing just to get a different shaped box. I don't think Graham will do it, because I think he's more sensible than I am. There's another Africa Twin ahead of us. Hope I don't get lost and get be on the wrong one, because Graham's leading the way and I'm not sure which way we're going. Anyway, I thought I'd do a quick video, give you my first impressions of this camera, because I've now been out, obviously, oh well, not obviously you've seen, but obviously you've had the opportunity to see my previous video. So if you're a subscriber, you've probably seen that I've had that camera go, this camera going, and did a bit of a comparison against the Drift Ghost S. As I said in the video, not a fair comparison. Although they were similar price, you know, 6 years apart. It's a completely different generation of cameras, so it wasn't to give a comparison of Drift versus GoPro or anything like that. It was really just to show the difference and the step up that the technology has given. So I've got to see the output of the camera. I was very pleased with the angle. I really should have put a mark or something on the construction I've got on the front of the helmet, the various arms. I've got the mount and a couple of 3 arms that get it into the right place, and I didn't mark where it was. I should have done, so that I could make sure I got the angle right, because the angle might be completely wrong now. But I was pleased with it, very pleased with the output in terms of the picture quality. The picture quality was absolutely stunning in comparison to the Drift, and side by side on my Putter, it's night and day. I thought the I thought the Drift gave me a good result in terms of the sharpness of the picture, but you put them next to each other and they're, yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's like the difference between my old kind of 4 megapixel Happy Snap camera and my DSLR. Yeah, it's just worlds apart. And in terms of the stabilisation, really happy with that. There's a couple of weird things. I specifically went and tried what happens if I look at the mirror like that and then like that, and it's quite weird that the camera's doing something really clever, and when I look at the mirror, when I actually compared the Ghost and the GoPro, I was looking at the mirror about a second earlier on the Ghost. Which is quite strange really, but it's just because of all the smoothing it's doing, and it makes it look like I'm either looking at the mirrors not at all. So sometimes I kind of quick glance when I've been you know, when I'm aware of what's around me anyway. Well, hopefully I'm aware of what's around me all the time anyway, but you know, when you're aware and you're just doing that quick check to make sure nothing's changed, the camera doesn't even see that quite often. looks like I haven't even moved my head. And in other times when I'm doing a really good look, prior to an overtake or prior to wanting to slow down quickly and really making sure what's behind me, there's that weird delay. But you know, I'll get used to that. And the benefit that the stabilisation gives versus the GoPro, I mean, my head is bouncing around now and I can see the bouncing in my eyes, but the camera doesn't even pick that up, whereas the Ghost really used to show it and do less processing than my brain was doing to take out the bumps. Sound wise, I was really pleased. I'm hoping it's as good today. I've had to have the whole thing off the helmet and put back on, so I could have really messed that up. So hopefully everything's working and this video will see the light of day. So in terms of what the camera is for, in terms of, you know, pictures and the sound, I was really pleased. I think, you know, first impressions are excellent. So there's some good stuff. There's also some bad stuff. And I've saw a few videos before I bought the camera about some of the bad things, or one of the bad things in particular. And I think it's worse than the videos I saw, so I wanted to mention it. And one thing was battery life. The battery life is crap. You know, I felt like saying is very poor, but honestly, it's crap. For the purpose I have, it's verging on not fit for, and I need to come up with a solution. Now, Hippodrones I was talking to quite a lot the other night, and I really want to thank Hippodrones. Cracking channel. If you're not subscribed, go and subscribe. But he really helped me out with the picture stuff. I was a bit nervous after I'd uploaded to YouTube that YouTube had absolutely crippled the picture, but it's because I'm recording at a higher resolution than I used to, so it was waiting for the VP9 or visible panty line codec or something to kick in. Anyway, the picture quality is a lot better after YouTube processed it for about 12 hours, so I'm definitely going to be uploading the day before and leaving YouTube to it. Well, Hippodrone's also pointed me at the Enduro battery, which I mentioned in the last video is the same milliamp hours, but they're obviously doing something presumably to do with heat, because I know the camera does get hot, not on a day like today with effectively a 50 or 60 miles an hour wind blowing past it, but I know GoPros have a heating issue, and that can do all sorts of things to battery life. So I think that's what that battery's about, and apparently it lasts better in winter, substantially better in winter than the standard battery does. Guess the standard battery don't like being cold either, and a little bit better in summer. I'm also looking at options around power banks. I wonder if there's a small power bank option that maybe I can stick on the helmet and feed a cable into the back, because it does seem to work okay off a big power bank I've got. So with the battery in, it seems to then record and not eat the battery. So there's some testing to be done to see what ampage I need to do that. But if I can get even a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, just a physically small one, that might give me about treble the battery life before the battery starts getting eaten, so that might help. The other option is to buy lots and lots of batteries and Enduro batteries, but honestly they're just too expensive. Even with the discount I get from my 1 year of membership to the GoPro fan club, or whatever it's called, I think you get 20% off or something. The Enduro battery is about £30. £30 for an hour's recording, or an hour and a half maybe. It's just not enough. I didn't mention, by the way, I think that the battery life on this is going to be about 3/4 of an hour. That's all. And I'm not recording at 4K or 5K, I'm recording at 2.7. So I'm not really stressing it. I'm actually recording at one of the modes that's available in battery saver mode. And still it's eating battery at an alarming rate. I have to say, 1.8 or 1,800 milliamp hours, 1.8 amp hours. What were you thinking, GoPro? in that same physical packaging, there are companies getting double that. Why wouldn't you just give us a decent battery? It's a little bit pathetic. So that's my biggest gripe. My second gripe is, I think there are just some design issues with the camera itself. Because I'm using the media mod, the camera slides into the media mod and it clips into that beautifully. That really nice design on how it clips together. Unfortunately, the little legs that stick out that you attach to the mount go through the media mod, which I guess if you're going to attach to the camera ones, clearly you would have to, because you'd have to get out there somehow. I don't know why they didn't put little legs on the media mod that folded out like they do on the camera, because that way you could get the camera out of the media mod without having to dismantle everything. And they've put the SD card at the wrong side, in my opinion. So when you slide in the camera into the media mod, there is then no way of accessing the card. You then mount the media mod to the, or rather the camera, through the media mod into the arm that I've got on the front of the helmet, and screw that together. And that means it's now impossible to get the camera out of the media mod without taking the thing apart again. So to get the SD card out so I can copy stuff to my laptop and start editing, I have to unscrew a screw, pull out that piece, and it's quite annoying to line that up when you put it back in, and then I have to pull the camera off the mount altogether. I then have to undo the media mod, take the camera out so I can get to the SD card just to download my footage. And seeing as this thing uses a lot of space when it's recording, because it's quite a high bit rate, I think I'm going to be swapping SD cards quite often, or I'm to buy some very big SD cards. We're planning potentially a trip next year. We were talking about doing the North Coast 500. Might not be that now, because we're probably going to have about 5 days to get to wherever we're going, tour and then come back. And just the amount of footage I'm going to need to record and the amount of battery juice I would have to do for that, I think that's just going to be a pain in the backside. So that's I think a downside of the camera. I think those are the two biggest downsides that I've found so far. Aside from that, there's a couple of little things that I'm trying out today to see if they improve things. So it was a bit weird to find that the camera was only recording in mono, but I think that might be because the sound setting was set to auto, the wind setting was set to auto, and it was trying to remove wind for me. I've turned that off now, so hopefully you can still hear me. I went and watched a video by Teapot1, who had lots of stuff on how he sets his GoPro up, and I've copied a lot of his settings. So if his settings mean that this video has got beautiful picture and crisp sound on both channels without me having to faff about to mirror the channels like I did in the last video, then great thanks to Teapot1. And if you can't hear a word I'm saying, then damn you, Teapot1! not that you'll know, because I won't upload the video. That's a bad sign. When you're behind somebody who's weaving and you see they're leaving a salt trail behind them, you know there's too much salt on the road, don't you? Anyway, that's my first impressions of the camera. The feedback I got on the video was pretty good, I think. Most people seem to think that the picture and sound were pretty good. So thank you everyone for that, and keep them tips coming, because as I said in the last one, I am no GoPro expert. Anyway, I'll stop now before my battery runs out. Thanks for watching everyone. Ride safe, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Oh, one last thing. One big problem with the drift that really used to annoy me. When you were videoing, it would obviously create files of a certain size and then start a new file. And every time it did that, which was about every 22-23 minutes, you'd end up with a gap in your footage of quite a few seconds. And if you hadn't heard it beep telling you were going on to the next file, often that meant the end of a vlog, or a vlog with a section missing where you had to chop it out because suddenly it would advance 10 seconds and whatever you were saying was lost. One great thing about the GoPro, that's gone. Noticed the other day that it just carries straight on with the next clip with no gap in between. Absolutely marvellous.